Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We'll start in a
Good
few.
morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good
Good
morning.
morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am.
We'll start in a couple of minutes. We'll wait for 5 more minutes before we take it. Like, video. So we already have more than 20 people. So we'll start now. Today we are going to have two sessions, one on health wearables and other on digital payments and e-commerce. I will be taking the health wearables section, and digital payments and e-commerce will be taken by Mr. Saurabh Jain, Vice President of PayTM. He will be joining us around 1 o'clock, and then we will start the second session. In between, we will have a session in which we will talk about the future and the past track record of the bootcamp, because today is the last session of the bootcamp. So we will go through the entire bootcamp, what all we have discussed, and how you can access if you have not actually visited the the particular session, how you can go to the YouTube channel and see the YouTube sessions. So as you all know, we have been doing the bootcamp from first, and we've already covered 7 sessions. This is the 8th session on health and fitness, wearable fashion, which I will be taking as the part one of today's session. Now, we've talked about wearable fashion in the very first session. That was more towards embedded garments and how you could develop wearables in which the garments are embedded through the technology. Mr. Prem Sagar had taken this session, and this was very well appreciated. Some of the participants have already started working on understanding more at the Makers Lab that Prem Sagar has. So hopefully we'll have some very good innovations coming out of the embedded garment space. But today, I am going to take this session on health and fitness wearables because this is a huge market and it has a lot of application in the fashion area because we're targeting at the millennials, which is the major area for our a major focus for our hack at FashionTech. So let's understand what are the categories in health wearables in fashion area. So we have 3 major areas: health, fitness and diet, and trackers. What do we understand by wearable tech in health? Wearable technology in healthcare includes electronic devices that consumers can wear, like Fitbits, smartwatches, and are designed to collect the data of users' personal health and exercise. It could be related to diet also. All the 3 components are basically what we are trying to take into account when we talk about wearables in the fashion area. The US consumers' use of wearable jumped from 9% in 2014 to 33% in 2018, according to Accenture. That effectively means that there is a rapid growth in this particular segment, and there is a lot of scope to include the wearables as a fashion statement. The people who are familiar with the Fitbits and the smartwatches can appreciate that a normal Fitbit or a smartwatch is probably at an X price, and you can command a 2X price if you make it a fashion statement. And Apple Watch is an example for that. So, why are we really looking at the healthcare wearables? The reason why we are looking at healthcare wearables is because that there is a huge amount of attention to capturing the data in real time of people, especially in the COVID-19 days, where you can track the vitals through the wearables seamlessly without any intervention. And this is why the health wearables in the current context is very, very important. So let's look at the fitness tracker. So one of the earliest example in terms of the wearables was the fitness tracker. Fitness trackers could be in form of wristbands, which are equipped with sensors to keep track of users' physical activity and heart rate. This could then be synchronized with various smartphone apps. And you can see various varieties, maybe in the form of watch or maybe integrated into a wristband, which doesn't have a visual display, but has just some characteristics in terms of capturing the data and showcasing through the LEDs. Now, when we talk about health watches, The health watches could be used to count steps, tell time. Smartwatches have now actually transformed into a clinically viable healthcare tools. A lot of hospitals, especially for critical care, are using these watches in terms of these smart watches to take care of the patient's monitoring even remotely. Apple launched its Apple Heart Study app in 2017 to monitor users' heart rhythms and alert those who are experiencing atrial fibrillation. That means if you have any particular problem in your heart rhythm, that can be tracked, and alert can be sent to your doctor or to your near and dear in case you have a particular critical position. Titan in India has recently launched their Connected X full touch smartwatch with monitors, which monitor multiple parameters for health, heart rate, pulse, etc. Now let's understand what is wearable technology. Wearable technology basically is a technology in the field of health and fitness, which refers to the electronic technologies or computers that are incorporated into items of clothing and accessories which can be comfortably worn on the body. So you are not only talking about garments, you can also be talking about the accessories. Accessories or anything that can be worn on the body, which can capture the vitals or information from the body directly through the various sensors of the electronics into the your computer system or your mobile interface. Most of this information is transferred through Bluetooth technology. For remote applications, we also use GPS because it can provide sensory and scanning facility features not typically seen in mobile or laptop devices, such as biofeedback and tracking of physiological functions. Wearable technology tend to be more sophisticated than the handheld technology which is available in the market today. So let's look at some of the examples in the healthcare, wearable technology in healthcare. And as I said that because most of the devices earlier were very ugly looking, so there was a conscious attempt to really make it more fashionable, make it more sleek, make it more important for people, that they really adopted. And with the millennials growing and having a lot of disposable income, these have taken a great stride in terms of the user adoption. So we not only have watches and bands, but we also have things like Google Glass, for example. Google Glass was one of the technologies that Google developed, where you could have an eyewear which uh, could really use augmented reality or any kind of applications embedded into it to pick up information from the uh, from the data stored on Google and have it displayed to the person who is wearing the glasses. Likewise, we have navigational tools which are available through the GPS, through the wearable technology. And this could be for not only tracking, but also for helping people to really give them the alerts in case they are reaching or in a zone which is not very safe. So these have been used in the past for women's safety, and especially for tracking uh, not only uh, people but also endangered animals. In fact, this has been one of the very big example to really make sure that we track the endangered species, their movement, as well as the journey. Another technology area is basically uses Wi-Fi and RFID, which is through maybe rings or again bands, which could allow you to really authenticate yourself. So if, for example, you are wanting to have a payment to be made to a certain store, you could have your ring which actually transmits your information to the processor, which is basically picking up that signal and authenticates that this is so and so person. Likewise, payments integration into the system through handheld devices is also another area which can be embedded into the either the watch or any kind of handheld accessory. Safety devices like seat belts can, especially in airports, in airplanes, you have this seat belt is wearing is compulsory. Now, most of the people don't wear the seat belt, or if it is not made compulsory, but it's very difficult for people to really check this on the while the plane is moving. So it is a small piece of device can be really put in into the seat belt, and it gives an indicator that this particular seat wearer is not wearing the seat belt. There are a number of applications. Sky is the limit for you to really look at the opportunities which are there. The seatbelt application might not be a fashion statement, but you can really look at it from the point of view of there might be people who have certain abdominal problems, and they could use the same technology to really uh, not only have indication of their tracking of their abdominal pain, etc., through the belt as a medium. So coming down to the wearable technology in healthcare, we have basically multiple touch points in which health wearables could be developed. As I said, tracking of your uh, if you are going on a walk, how many steps have you taken, what is the kind of total exercise that you have done in terms of time, in terms of this thing, yoga, heart rate monitoring, and even developing systems which can track your sleep, because a lot of people have a sleep problem, and they need to doctors need to really monitor their sleep pattern, and this could be embedded into the wearable tech for a healthy lifestyle to understand what is the pattern and how that can be really improved. uh, Gyms have been excessively using the technology for monitoring the amount of exercise that you do, and so on and so forth. So, why wearable technology is becoming pivotal for the healthy lifestyle? Let's examine a little deeper into this area. So, fitness tracking actually uses built in sensors for measuring how many steps that you take while running or riding a bike. The activity trackers might also measure your pulse rate and create colorful graphics and charts. Now, this gives you a visual indication. If you see on the right hand side, you have this watch, which is basically giving you all the parameters which are related to your maybe cycling, or what is your heart rate, and so on and so forth. Now, Pebble Time is a product which has basically been developed by Pebble in collaboration with Stanford University, where it tracks your go to bed, your sleep patterns, and deep sleep, and what time you fall asleep and what time you wake up. Now, this gives a lot of indication to your sleep pattern. A lot of people have been using this internationally. There are sleep experts which analyze this to really find out how the sleep pattern can be improved. Now, there are other health wearables which can be designed to really give the stress level. It could be mental stress, or it could be stress of your certain parts of your body. For example, if you have some problem with your shoulder, or some amount of you might have had an injury, so you could monitor the stress level of that particular area through the use of technology, through the health wearables. So, wearable technology is becoming pivotal for healthy lifestyle, especially for people who have high blood pressure. And there is a product called Withing Blood Pressure, which is basically one of the earliest connected wearable healthcare device, which is available in the market. And this has an app which connects to the Bluetooth, and you can monitor the blood pressure yourself. So you don't need a doctor to really monitor your blood pressure. You can do it from your home at the comfort of your office or your home. The another area which is particularly very important for women is in terms of keeping track of your weight. There is a smart gadget in the Fitbit family called Fitbit Aria. This is a smart scale that tracks your weight and body fat percentage. You could use it daily, or you could upload the information to the cloud based on whatever parameters that you want to set it for. Of course, heart is the most important application for keeping your heart healthy. There are heart monitors, which are very simple mobile based solution, which attaches to your phone case. And this particular, you can see these illustrations at the site. I'll give the reference of all the sites at the end. So the heart monitor not only gives the information, but you can also set up alerts for alerting your doctor in case you have certain abnormal conditions. There is a wearable technology which has been used for social impact, which is called Khushi Baby. This is a mobile health and wearable technology which is used for social impact, like motivating and monitoring the healthcare of mothers and children in remote regions of the developing world. It's a very novel mobile app for community health workers that interface with a digital necklace worn by the patients via the near field communication, or NFC. All the data stored in the tiny NFC chip is synced with the cloud for analytics at the remote location. Now, this has been used extensively in some of the developing countries and has won a lot of international acclaim. The company is based out of US, and this has been applied in many developing countries, and is won a social impact award for its very innovative application by using very simple technology, but very effectively implemented. Exercising is the how do you do exercising in the most effective way? You have a gym watch fitness tracker, which is a fitness tracker not only counting the steps, but also it acts as your personal coach or a professional performance diagnostics. Uh, Back at home, we have GoIQ, which has a product called Smart Vital, which allows you to keep track of your blood oxygen, SpO2. So this is something which is a wearable, which is a smart wearable, but also it integrates with the gym product if you want to use the gym product, and there is a online training application also along with it. So there's a range of products by GoIQ, and GoIQ has achieved a lot of interest amongst this thing. And let me tell you that GoIQ as a company employs 98% women. So I happen to know the founder, and I was interacting with him. I said I would like to really make sure that we have more and more women adopting it. Is that most of our trainers are women, and we have given employment to almost 98% of the staff are women. The health wearable market, according to Huffington Post, is that it was expected to reach about 130 million by 2018, whereas the CCS Insights predicts predicted that 245 million units of health wearables will be sold by 2019. And I think we have surpassed these numbers. I don't have the exact figures of 2020 because I could not find any data on this. But wearables are becoming one of the best selling consumer electronic products after smartphone. And cites the forecast by Euromonitor that autonomous or smart wearables are projected to exceed 305 million units in 2020, which actually means that there is a compound annual growth rate of 55%. Now, to value add the current market, if we really make it a fashion statement, you can understand what is the kind of market that you have. Let us look at what are the benefits of the wearable technology in healthcare. So it allows you multifunctionality. So you could have in your watch multiple applications, which include from fitness to tracking of your footsteps or all kinds of applications that you want to be programmed into your wearable. The most important thing is that it allows you a proactive healthcare. That means you are not really even the first symptoms of a problem in your health, you are able to really identify it and take corrective actions. The other most important area in the wearable technology is that it allows you a patient engagement. That means a patient could be somewhere uh, and the doctor might be somewhere else. So the doctor can engage with the patient in near real time through the wearable technology, because he can get the vitals very smartly on his console through the wearable. What's most important is that it also allows you a real-time monitoring. The real-time monitoring can be done remotely by people who are doing the remote monitoring. And I know of a few doctors who have set up uh, for the COVID-19 specialized ICU, which is catering to almost 20 hospitals in the US. So they are doing the remote monitoring for the COVID patients who are critically ill right from India. One center that I know of is in Udaipur, and the other center is in Bangalore. So this kind of real-time monitoring, the inputs are being taken through devices like this, through the Bluetooth or through a robotic process based on some of the information that the doctor needs. They inform the robot, who then picks up that information which is relevant to the doctor to remotely identify the critical care that has to be given, and the robot then delivers it. So there is an increased provider efficiency based on there are new models which have come up in the health care, and which actually means that you might not have a super specialist in the area that you are living in, but you can have the access to the specialized care through the remote access. So these are some of the reasons why wearable technology has actually shown such a great interest. So now let us look at what are the kind of technologies that we need to really understand for the health wearables. And some of the technologies which are there are very simple IoT devices, and there are a lot of manufacturers that really provide this information. If we really want to work on this area, then we need to understand that our mobile phone has multiple sensors within the mobile phone, and the same can be integrated into any of your wearable. So let's look at the body. You can have headbands which can monitor the EEG. You have sociometric badges which can be basically placed as a necklace or any kind of microphone embedded into the microphone. You could have so while you're walking or tracking a person's movement, it could be somewhere in your neck area. The other could be your camera clips. So if you want to really monitor the video, you'll be having a camera clip, which is basically the camera is picking up the information, and it has to be placed in a certain area, which has been which can be put into the this is most of the camera clips are used for finding locations and actually showing the vitals of the heart related uh, specific problems in the health. Some of this might seem very trivial, but it's important to understand how the technology maps to it. You're not, all of you are not going to develop the technology, but which technology to use where and which part of the body that you have to really embed the health wearable is what is very important. And that's why this slide becomes very important for most of the people. Smartwatches, of course, have to be worn on the wrist, and there are enough amount of applications that it has. We've already discussed most of it, measuring the temperature, measuring the oxygen flow of the person, what is the oxygen levels, especially in the COVID times, uh, and so on. There could also be sensors embedded in clothing, which we have discussed how to do that. This can be on the foot for foot massaging, for EMG, for ECG, and other applications, especially on running related area, which could be there are multiple sensor points in which we could really use these. And some of the technology aspects which can be picked up by your camera are the accelerometer. There is an accelerometer in most of the smartphones. There are altimeters which basically measure the height of the location that you are. For example, if you are going for skiing and you have a problem in terms of breathlessness, then this particular sensor will allow you to really pick up the relevant sensors and share it to the whatever you have designated it for. Digital cameras are there in your phone. Electrocardiogram could be integrated. Electromyograph could be integrated through your phone, through the camera interface and a specific hardware. Location GPS. Every smartphone has a GPS. Microphones. Most of uh, the smartphones have a microphone, and you could use it even through your social media apps like WhatsApp. Oximeters can be embedded into the health wearable that you design. And Bluetooth proximity is a way of communicating, and Bluetooth proximity is extensively used in our COVID-19 tracking through the government supported app. There are pressure sensors in your phone, and also you could integrate a thermometer into your through a sensor in the phone. So these are, in a nutshell, some of the major technology products that can be embedded for health monitoring, and where it has to be placed is given here. Now, what we will try to really look at now is how these applications can be used, and what kind of apps can be developed around it. So the mHealth apps, the way we call it, is when we use the wearable devices, the apps that are developed are called mHealth apps. These mHealth apps could be, as you said, patient monitoring, and it uses the big data. It actually references the data that you are providing online and processes it through IoT and AI integration, and also does what is called a predictive analysis in real time. And if there is any anomaly noted, alerts are issued. Another technology which is extensively used in the mHealth application is the AR and VR. So there are specialized courses on mHealth apps, and I happen to do one from Stanford. So I came across some interesting use cases for health, and also how do we really look at from the point of view of fashion. So I would like to share a healthcare case with a company that I was recently introduced to by one of the previous speakers, Samiksha Bajaj. Uh, this is a case study of Tinker Design. Tarusha, who is the founder of this company, she is a consultant in the fashion tech area. And she has produced an innovative product by combining design aesthetic sensibilities and traditional products. So, for example, this product that you are seeing here is a foot massager integrated into a shoe. And this shoe is basically using handloom fabric, which is a traditional art form of Sri Lanka. This technology not only allows you foot massaging while you're walking, but also provides advanced comfort to the wearer. So, most of the people, especially who are salespeople or people who have to walk a lot for their profession, they have sore feet by the end of the day. This foot massager integrated into the shoe itself actually gives a lot of comfort to the wearer. So this is another product showcase, which is a fashion statement. If you really look at, can be designed with the product. And again, if you see, shoe is a normal shoe, but the fabric that has been used is a traditional heritage handloom of Sri Lanka. So this is an artisanal product in a craft, Sri Lankan craft, which embeds the technology to provide the comfort level. So you can see more of such patterns, that how you could really work on this through this site called Tinker Design Projects. Another area for wearable health fashion could be in terms of embedding it into the West. Now, there are a lot of people who have problems in terms of pressure in the so you have in your chest area, if you have some specific problems, you could use this vibration based health wearable, which is embedded into the vest of the garment. So I have included this because we can we have discussed this how to embed into a garment in the e-textiles workshop, but I'm bringing this to your notice that this is a curative kind of health wear, which can also be one of the part of your projects that you want to really look at. I have given the reference of from where you get this information, and you can read about this if you want to. So these are some of the major things that I wanted to really showcase, and I will just summarize that the future of the wearable technology is helping patients with chronic illness. This is where the world is moving, and most of the people who are chronically ill have a big stigma of wearing these wearables if it is not aesthetically designed, so that it can integrate into their lifestyle. And that is the opportunity space that you have to really look at. Helping people living in remote areas to manage their conditions at a remote location is the future. 49% of the patients globally wear or would be willing to wear technology embedded products. That means that there is a huge amount of opportunity in the health wearable space. Wearable technology per se is not only for fashion, but it is, if it is a fashion product, the user adoption becomes much easier. So why not make a fashion statement with the health wearables? And with that, I'll end, and I'm showing a visual of a skiing person. If anybody is familiar with skiing in the snow peaks, most of the skiers get a lot of snow bite in their feet if they're not wearing the right kind of shoes. So here is a picture in which the shoe that he is wearing for skiing has a embedded heater. That means it provides warmth while he is skiing, and he has lesser chance of uh, getting a frostbite. At the same time, it's a fashionable product, and a lot of companies like Reebok and Adidas are working around creating new kinds of shoes. And this sneaker market is a very big market in the fashion tech area. And if people had attended the session that we had on blockchain application, this is one area for blockchain, which is being used for the traceability. So if you need any more this thing, you feel free to ask the questions. I am ending my session here, and I'll open the floor for any questions that you may have. Thank you. So if you have any question, please put it in the chat window so that I can unmute the participant and you can ask the question. So anyone who has a question, you can raise your hand, or you could put your question in the chat window. So for anybody is intending to really work on the hackathon and would like to really integrate any of these healthcare related wearables, please let me know in advance if you need any specific hardware or if you need any specific this thing from some of the manufacturers. We have two manufacturers. So one, of course, Prem Sagar has been kind enough to really share his address from where you can really buy some of the products, and I will share it officially on the mail to all the participants once you start on the hackathon. But if you have any interesting ideas around health tech in the fashion area, you could ask me any of these questions, because apart from being in the engineer, I actually specialized in health from Stanford. So I have worked on some of these very critical problem areas in remote care using the mobile health, and I worked very closely with certain engineers in Stanford, as well as with doctors in both in India and in US. So if anybody has any ideas that they want to discuss with me, you're most welcome to really ask your questions, and I will be happy to answer them. So if there are no questions, I can actually share some of the links for you. You could possibly see them at your ease. This is a research paper that I have quoted. This is the FashionTech shoes that I had demonstrated. The most authentic website is basically Stanford. Now, this is Stanford Medical School and Stanford University has a mHealth program, which is a online program. Which, if anybody has deep interest into this area to understand how to integrate mHealth into lifestyle products, especially into using it in embedding into the garments and the health wearables. This is one program that one should really take up. It's a 2 weeks online program, which is very easy to do. Even people who are non-technology savvy, they can do it. And if there are no questions, I would like to really pose one of the problem statements that has been shared by one of the doctors in the COVID time, which they want to solve, and they would like somebody from the hackathon group to really look at. So this is one typical problem that most of the doctors are having in terms of when they are addressing uh, the COVID patients, they have to wear a PPE kit. So the PPE kit is something that one has to wear to really safeguard themselves. Now, this PPE kit actually covers the entire face, and you have to wear the face mask, you have to wear the screen and so on and so forth, especially if you're addressing critical patients with COVID. Now, it's very difficult for people, doctors, to be identified, which is a doctor, and they can't even access their mobile phones. So there is a huge opportunity for developing something very simple. That means you develop a mechanism to have their nameplate displayed on their PPE kit through a small embedded uh, 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 this thing in the on the PPE kit, and which is also detachable. So when they are wearing the PP kit, they also wear that. And not only that, they you could have the uh, a voice integration through the device. That means you have a color mic or some mic which can be really put in, and the mobile phone, they don't have to take out the mobile phone from the this thing, and this is also embedded in the garment. So this is a one problem statement which is a direct application in the COVID times, and this has this requirement has come from a doctor who's already working in this area in a big way. She's currently handling almost like 20 hospitals, as I said, from the US hospitals. And there is a ample amount of uh, requirement of such products. And especially doctors are very finicky that they don't want to remove their PP kits, which effectively means that communication is highly reduced. Even their nameplates cannot be really put on the PPE kit because it's of a material which doesn't allow you can't really use any pins or so on and so forth. But with the help of technology, we can actually develop this without too much of a problem. And this is one problem statement that I would like somebody in the hackathon to really work on and see if we can provide a relief. So with that, I will just end my session. If there is any questions, I'm happy to answer. I can't see any questions on the chat window, but Even if you have later, you have my numbers, you have my contact details. You are most welcome to. Right now we will take a break for 5 minutes, and then I will come down to our program in terms of updating you on the future program, how we are going about it. You'll have to give me a 5 minute break. Uh, and if there are any questions, you can continue to really put it on the chat window. Thank you. So I'm back, and I will be continuing with the session. So for the benefit of all the people who have joined, I can see some new names which have joined only today. I would like to give you the background of this program. This program is Hack at FashionTech, which has two parts. The first part is the boot camp, which is basically to prepare people to understand fashion tech and the various technologies and the fashion elements that you need to understand. As one of the world's most polluting industry, fashion has a major negative environmental impact. Considering that fashion is a $2.2 trillion industry, we should be really alarmed. This is what really made me start working on this program and try to see how we can make fashion as a sustainable fashion in the current paradigm. While there has been some interest from on the environmental front, many brands are and retailers are making significant progress in reducing their negative impacts. There is still a long way to go. Sustainable and digital technologies bring a new dimension to the future of sustainable fashion. And our objective has been to really bring uh, to the notice of everybody what you mean by the sustainable and digital technologies, and how you could really apply it in the area of fashion. So, this requires an understanding of sustainable fashion and the technology applications in context of the future of fashion. Developing a sustainable fashion agenda with the help of technology solution is the entire interest of our endeavor. In the second part of the program, we will be having a hackathon, which will begin on 22nd. So till 21st, people who want to register, they can register, and the registration link is live. You could from 22nd onwards, we will be shifting to the platform on which the hackathon is going to be done, where you have to re-register again and submit your theme uh, in a team mode to the project that you want to really develop. You will have a week to develop the project, and by 28th evening, you have to submit your project presentation, which will be evaluated and uh, given. The shortlisted teams will be announced on 29th morning. The teams which are shortlisted will go through another round of formal presentation, and they can actually embed that video. The details of the methodology that you have to apply for creating your presentation is on the site in a very elaborate manner. If anybody has a problem, you can check that out at fashiontech.smartedge.work. So, continuing with this thing, we started looking at that how can fashion industry adopt sustainable technologies and digital technologies, and hackathons are experiential learning methods uh, preceded by a boot camp, which is what we are at, and that we should understand some of the basic technologies, how you could really bring it as a part of your offering or your innovation into this thing. So today we discussed health wearables, and a little later we will be discussing the uh, e-commerce applications and how do you integrate payment gateway into your application. From PayTM, Saurabh will be taking this session. So, as most of you know, there is a World Trade Expo that is going on, a online exhibition on Handloom Festival at worldtradeexpo.org. So, the interest is that we need to really look at how we can follow Honorable Prime Minister's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And as a part of this, we are trying to support the local artisans, weavers, and small and medium enterprises, especially women, to really showcase their products in an online method. I am Khadi, who is one of the co-founders of both SmartEdge as well as this particular event, along with World Trade Center, is running a program to help small and medium enterprises adopt technology and to be able to really showcase their products and sell their products both to Indian as well as international markets. So, as a small effort, we are contributing through this boot camp and a series of webinars in terms of this thing through what we call the Fashion Summit, where from 1st to 30th, we will be having series of webinars, which are going to really showcase the products as well as discuss some of the issues, some for learning through the bootcamp, to prepare people, prepare the relevant students and startups how to really innovate, and some just to upskill their knowledge in the areas. So these webinars could be in terms of design, fashion, technology, or sustainability issues. Whereas the bootcamp will specifically address case studies, workshops, and online meetups like this to really discuss how we can take this to the next level. The Fashion Tech Hackathon has three major themes: sustainable fashion, wearables, 3D printed fashion, and web mobile apps. So, 3D printed fashion is a part of the wearables itself, because one of the technologies that really support wearables, whether it is health wearables or embedded fashion garments. 3D printing comes in a recluse to creating one product at a time. So, as I said, that the three major themes. Out of these three themes, we have been able to really uh, address all three of them through various sessions that we've had. Uh, so let's look at what are the timelines that we have. For the Hackett Fashion Tech, we began on 1st till 10th. We had our individual registration, and the boot camp has been going on from 1st, and it will end today. The team formation amongst yourself you can continue to do, but you are required to till 21st you have to till 21st you have to register on the website for the hackathon and provide the necessary details, the link of which will be shared shortly. The webinars will continue till 30th, and the webinars, as I said, partially the bootcamp webinars will be held on Zoom platform, Zoom meeting platform, and the other would be at the World Trade Expo Zoom webinar format, which is open to the entire world. So we've been running under the Fashion Summit webinars for B2B, business to business sessions, and I've also included as a part of the bootcamp. I'm also sharing fashion related webinars that are happening across the globe on fashion areas, and I think some of you have already participated in a few of them. I received some very good comments on that, but we'll continue to really keep sharing information about the webinars which are happening, not only which we are organizing and WTC is organizing, but we will also be sharing the webinars which are happening across the world by IFA Paris and some of the major accelerators across the globe. So after onboarding to the hackathon, and I would request all of you to really participate in the hackathon, even if you don't have an idea, even if you don't have this thing, the amount of learning that you have by participating in the hackathon, and the amount of friends that you make or partners that you make during the hackathon is something enviable. Uh, uh, 3 years ago, I had no idea about hackathons. I just walked into one of the hackathons, which was of my interest, and I ended up actually being a mentor on that hackathon. And I helped a lot of young participants to really hack the solution for this thing. And there is so much of learning, and it's a very fun way of learning. You don't really have to do anything, but you have to go with the tide. The kind of mentors that we have brought in for you, there is a big challenge in online hackathons, and that's the reason why we came up with this idea of a boot camp preceded by the hackathon. And the availability of IBM's entire developer code platform is there with you. So you can develop a solution without knowing a single line of code. So if you can have one developer in your team and you have some interesting idea which you want to develop, there are code patterns which will be shared by IBM, And there are AI in fashion. There was a session, and there was a session on blockchain by IBM. And these code patterns will be available to you. There is a specific login which has been given. And once you register for the hackathon, you will have all these details shared with you on 21st or 22nd. So we will be having our finals between 28th and 30th. That means 28th we will actually have the process started, and by 29th we'll have most of the pitching sessions, and on 30th we intend to showcase the products. The top 6 or the top 10 projects will be showcased on the World Trade Expo site or on our site. So this is an immense amount of opportunity for you, not only to learn but also showcase your work and showcase and find more partners, find investors. There are investors who will be coming in silently to really observe your work, and if there are some interesting ideas, you can also be getting investor on board. So why you should participate in the Hack at Fashion Tech? Fashion tech is a global business of $2.3 trillion, which means that there's a huge amount of opportunity waiting for you. And this is one industry which has a great amount of adoption of e-commerce. So e-commerce is the way to go. And the fashion industry also is the most polluting industry. So you need to really bring down the concepts of sustainability. And who better than Indians, where we actually have a grassroots level kind of interest in terms of using khadi, using cotton fabrics, natural fabrics, and also handloom products. So that's ingrained into our culture. We have very high degree of innovation in the sustainability side. We need to know, if we merge it with the fashion, we can create a unique opportunity for our fashion designers to really take with the help of technology, take these designs to the global level, which not only provides the garments or the products, the fashion products, but also embed the technology to provide things like health wearables and wearable technology to support some of the challenges like women's safety and so on and so forth. The most important area in terms of the this thing is that there are fast fashion trends, and online shopping or mass marketing is going both premium and luxury segments. So fashion tech, it becomes a very good way to position yourself with a small amount of technology induction. You can charge a very high premium for your products. Because when you use technology, you are not only really creating technology input into your product, but also you can customize the experience, and you can provide a great amount of personalization to the person. And we've seen that when we had a session with Samiksha Bajaj, in terms of really looking at how we could add some value in terms of bringing in new products uh, for new ways of really getting the measurements of the people who wanted to buy online or shop online, in terms of the virtual trial room, and in terms of 3D modeling to see if you can have the right fit ordered, and how they are delivering the products in 48 hours. So the use of artificial intelligence to understand consumer preference is something worldwide, which is being done by IBM. They worked with a lot of brands to really work on this thing. In the very second session, we had a lot of people who attended that session. In fact, that session was viewed by more than 600 people that day on the Facebook channel that we created for that day. And it was oversubscribed, and even till date, I get almost about 100 views every day added to that. Today, the number of views for that particular video has been over 853 as of yesterday. The importance of social media and influencers in the consumer perspective, perception towards the lifestyle is something which is seeing a lot of interest. And all the millennium and the generation Z has a smartphone obsession. So you could easily integrate your fashion products into some way of either marketing it through mobile or integrating it with mobile for personalization through apps. And this is where the world is moving, and it's the right time for fashion students, fashion professionals, fashion designers, and brands to really adopt this technology. And here is your opportunity to learn how to do that. So our partners for the Hack and Fashion Tech are IBM, JD Institute of Fashion Technology. We are very thankful to both of them to really provide all the necessary technology and academic support to the bootcamp. PayTM will be sharing their inputs a little later. And PayTM has a PayTM Build for India program, of which Saurabh is heading, and he will be sharing more details about this. AIC Artec has been very helpful in connecting us with the right mentors across the globe. We will be having a very senior fashion tech expert actually on the program. Once the hackathon starts, he will be sharing his overview and experience and will be available as a jury for the Hack at Fashion Tech. He's from Netherlands, and he has a great name in his own expertise area, and he also runs a startup called Holofill. We are also thankful to our partners who have helped us to really connect with more number of user base: Facebook for Developers, IoT NCR, Google Developers, and Women Who Code Delhi. So these are a list of all the bootcamp sessions that we have done. We had begun with introduction to Hack at Fashion Tech, and then started with the e-textiles workshop by Prem Sagar. AI in fashion using Watson engine was the most subscribed session on the second, and we had equal number of interesting people join in for the panel discussion on AI in fashion case studies. On 6th, we had the session where we actually had an informal session where Yash Arya, founder of I Am Khadi, and me discuss about what is the overview of the program, and had an informal interaction between the various participants to really understand what are their aspirations and what all they would like to really have in the program. So we had a fashion workshop from Janvi Chadha from JD Institute of Fashion Technology, and also followed by introduction meetup online. The next session was by Samiksha Bajaj. Again, she is the founder of Shamshake, And we also had some discussion as to how we could really have fashion technology in the e-retail segment, and how we can support how they are working in their technology space, as well as actually taking their brand global through the use of technology. Uh, on 10th, we again had an orientation session on hack and fashion tech, and a design workshop by scheduled was with Bharti Mishra, but we had to change it because of the last minute problems with Bharti Mishra. And Jabbar Khatri video was showcased, where Ms. Sanjeevni had actually conducted the design workshop. The blockchain overview was given on 11th by Shikha, and the supply chain and traceability panel was was discussed between Shikha and me. Shikha is from IBM and a senior consultant. Today, as I said, we have covered the health wearable, which is the last session, and Saurabh would be taking a little later from PayTM about this thing. Some glimpses of the bootcamp. We have this bootcamp on e-textiles by Prem Sagar, who will also be a jury on the final. So the second session, which was AI in Fashion by Sharat Kumar of IBM, and Akshara Dalal and me. We had this session, as I said, oversubscribed by more than 400 times of what was expected. We were expecting 40, 50 people to really join in, but we had more than 500. The panel discussion looked at some of the very interesting questions, like how do we bring sustainability at the center of the offering, and how we can really improve the fashion tech in India, how we can really bring in India at the center stage of the global economy in the fashion tech, and how do we see robots and other new technology advancements in the technology to really come into India and really bring in a sea change. So Fashion Tech workshop again gave a complete overview of all the fashion tech related aspects in the fashion area by Janvi Chadha. And Samiksha, as said, gave a technical overview as well as the details of their product. Design workshop conducted by Sanjeevni from JD Institute, and Shikha Maheshwari took a session on blockchain and its application in the fashion industry. Today, as we have just finished our health wearables, we will now be having the next session at in another few minutes. So anybody who wants to still register for Hack and Fashion Tech, who has not registered till now, please go ahead and register yourself on the fashiontech.smartedge.work/register. The hackathon is free to participate, no charges. You have to just bring in whatever products that you are using to build your product, and the product remains your product. It's not our product. We will help you to build a product, but we don't own the product. The product will remain with you. What you will be doing during the various phases of the hackathon is to keep sharing the project details with us, so that we can give you suitable feedback through the mentor panel that we have created for you, and also help you to really showcase this once you are through with the project. What it does is that it is the hackathon. Through the hackathon, you learn the new skills to create innovative technology that will help define the future of fashion. You not only combine fashion and technology, but also learn about sustainable fashion and how to work in a multidisciplinary skills. We hope that you've been able to really kind of get some idea about how the hackathon is run. But most of the challenge areas we've tried to cover in the boot camp and how it can be solved through the help of technology. But you can focus on going through the various video recordings and see for yourself where you would like to really bring your case. So there are three major themes, as we said, the sustainable fashion, wearable fashion, and mobile and web apps. So all the three areas are very interesting areas. The focus is on getting vocal for local and trying to move towards the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So the the webinar series that we've been having from November 1st to November 30th is like this. We've started the B2B webinar series from 7th, and we've been sharing the information on Hackett FashionTech and Fashion Summit on Facebook, and plus to all the registered participants of the bootcamp as well as the Fashion Summit. And you can see we've already covered some of very interesting sessions which are there, and some very interesting sessions coming up on tomorrow. For example, future of Indian textile industry with focus on home textile exports. This is courtesy the FPA. So we will be having multiple sessions by experts in their own area from the Federation of Buying Agents, the members of Federation of Buying Agents, and likewise we will be bringing in more and more exposure to all the participants through the forthcoming programs. This video is, this presentation is available on the site. Anybody can go and see the details right on the site. These are some of the snapshots of the previous webinars, and these webinar recordings are available if anybody wants to view it on the Facebook page. So for any other details, please feel free to reach out to me or Yash Arya at the numbers given and the email IDs given. For more on the Fashion Tech Hackathon as well as the Fashion Tech Bootcamp, you can go down to the fashiontech.smartedge.work, and anybody who wants to register, you can go on to the register link and register yourself. So anybody has any questions or anybody has any comments, please type it into the chat window. So I have a few questions coming up. I'll just wait for 5 minutes before we really take them one-on-one. So I have unmuted you, one
Nikki.
of the participants, Nikki. Nikki, why don't you really raise your question? And if what is your issue? If you could just say.
Hello everyone. Hi Dolly. It had been a good session. I'm
Thank
interested
you.
for the hackathon,
Right,
and uh, as we know that okay, we need a team for the hackathon.
right.
So how do we form that team? So how do we know the people who are interested for that particular idea? And obviously we need some particular skills so that we can form a team.
Right.
Would you suggest?
Right. So what we are going to do is we are opening a Slack channel. So what you have to do is you have to really register yourself, and there will be a communication link for you to register online at a particular site, which will from today evening onwards, the that site will be open for all of you, which will have a Slack channel. The Slack channel, most of the registered participants till 21st, you can actually interact with yourself. All the registered members of the hackathon will be actually on that site. So even now, for example, there are people who have already joined, and they'll continue to join. Whoever is already registered for the hackathon. Today, the message will go out to everybody on their email IDs through which they have registered, as to what is the link and how they can onboard themselves. You can onboard yourself as an individual, and then interact with the people on the Slack channel who are also registered, and you can form a team. So when you register yourself, you might or might not have a team. That doesn't really matter, but as you go along, you can form your team. But you need to have an idea. You need to have the
Yeah.
idea on the theme that you want to do, and you have to register that on the this thing before 21st evening. And even if you don't have a team, you can begin on your own, and you can continue to ideate with others to really join in a particular team. So you can only participate in one team, not in multiple teams. So you have to wisely choose whether you are going to be the team leader. Then you can invite others to join your team, or if you want to be a part of somebody's team, then you have to really look up for the teams which have already been formed. I can also help to facilitate the process. In case you have any queries, you can reach out to me, and we'll be happy to really help you to really form the teams. Essentially, considering the kind of participants who have registered, we have equal number of participants who are from tech background and from the fashion background. So ideally, you should not have a problem to really make a team, provided you really put in your details as to what is your idea and what is your expertise area, and then we can do some matchmaking online through the Slack channel. That is the way that we propose to do. But if anybody wants to reach out directly, you are free to do that. So while we are having this, you can even share on the chat window and introduce yourself. In fact, in all the sessions, we make it a point that we have a meetup session, which is what we are currently doing, where we will actually be allowing all the participants to really come one by one and introduce themselves, and if they have any idea, or if they have any questions, they can really raise the questions. So
Okay. I'll,
uh, if
uh,
you could,
yeah.
if you could share your details with the participants. This is a recorded session, so even if somebody is not on the webinar, they might be on the YouTube channel link that is there, and they could be since this is streamed live online, so there are a lot of people who will be watching it from the online channel also, so they could
Okay.
get back to you. So my suggestion would be, why don't you really take 2 minutes in introducing yourself to begin with, and then we can have the introductions from others also.
Okay. I'll post my introduction online. Can I ask another question, please?
Yes, please.
Okay, so if suppose I saw a few suggestions for the wearables that we can actually use for our for realizing the idea during the hackathon.
Right.
So if suppose we want to order some of those hardwares that you had projected during the presentations, how do we
Yeah.
do that? We
Okay. So, for example, in terms of the this thing, there are multiple makers lab which are having their online presence. I will share that link with you. Just give me a minute. I will give you the link of the YouTube channel. On the YouTube channel, the first session on e-textiles was taken by Prem Sagar. In that we had shared the link, and I will share that link separately with you also, and others, for the benefit of others. I'm just trying to see if I can find it readily. Otherwise, I will post it
I'll
to
pick it up from that
all the
session.
people. Yeah, you can pick it up from the session.
Yeah, I'll do
Why don't you introduce yourself and your background, and what kind of partners are you looking for the hackathon?
that. You want me to speak it out, or do I
Yes,
want?
that.
Do I?
No, if you can just speak it out also and leave the comment on the this thing, so that other participants can anonymously kind of interact with you, or so if you could just post it also and speak it out also, then it becomes recorded. So people who are not watching this and watching the YouTube channel, they can also get back to you. You can leave your number and your details.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Dolly, for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself. I'm Nikki, full name Nikki Vada Shukla. I'm a tech entrepreneur. I had been trying to crack an idea and then realize it. Frankly speaking, I have not succeeded yet on this, but yeah, when you move or you board onto this boat, you have that energy, you have that confidence that okay, like things can be realized, and the experience that you get from all these failures is something that actually helps you or takes you a little more closer. Presently, the idea that I'm working on is not directly in the fashion domain, it's in the paper domain using laser cutter machines. So that's basically 3D cards. The reason for why I am interested for the hackathon and why I joined this bootcamp is I believe technology, application of the technology and realizing that idea using this technology is always thrilling. I have won a hackathon earlier also, and that adrenaline, that confidence helps you actually to go a little longer. So I feel okay, this hackathon is also going to give me that experience of applying the technology on the idea. Yeah, that is all.
So, Nikki, do you have any area that you would like to work on out of the three challenge areas? Challenge
Uh,
three.
yes, I would say that I heard you had projected an idea at the end of your session that a doctor is actually very much interested in having her identification and a communication among her team during the operation theater. I would like to pick up that idea.
Great.
As an entrepreneur, we always look for okay, what is the opportunity that has some customers, and yeah, this is it.
That's right. Very good. I think that makes my day for the session. I think so. Anybody else like to really introduce themselves? Please feel free to just raise your hand. I'll unmute you, and I think I've given the unmute permission to everybody, so you could unmute yourself and pick up the question one by do your introductions one by one. So, anybody who would like to go first? Otherwise, Ayushi, would you like to unmute yourself and introduce yourself? Ayushi, are you there? Harshita, Sakshi, Nazir Ahmed, would you like to speak?
No,
Introduce.
thank you, ma'am.
If you could introduce yourself, this is an informal session. This session is basically meant for you people to understand what you are doing, and if you would like to know something more about the hackathon and how you could participate in that.
मैम जी मैं लद्दाख से बोल रहा हूँ, लेह लद्दाख से।
Right.
जी
Very warm welcome.
मेरा काम मैम अब मेरा पश्मीने का काम है सारा, पश्मीना और वूलन का और याक वूल जो यहाँ पे लोकल वूल आते हैं उसी के साथ मेरा रिलेटेड काम है। जी जी, अभी पश्मीना शॉल बनाते हैं मैम, स्टॉल बनाते हैं और इसमें नेचुरल डाई भी कराते हैं।
ठीक है।
तो फिर ज्यादा स्केल में नहीं बनाते, थोड़ा थोड़ा ही बनाते मैम।
नहीं, बहुत बहुत बढ़िया। अगर आप इस प्रोग्राम में पार्टिसिपेट करना चाहते हैं, जो हैकाथॉन हमारा हो रहा है वो आप जैसे कारीगरों के लिए ही है, और इसमें हम क्या करते हैं, आपको ऐसे टेक्नोलॉजी स्टूडेंट्स के साथ या एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के साथ जोड़ सकते हैं जो आपके प्रोडक्ट को एक और नेक्स्ट लेवल पे ले जा सकते हैं। तो ये हैकाथॉन का फॉर्मेट ऐसा होता है जहाँ पे अलग अलग तरीके के लोग साथ में जुड़ते हैं और ये चिंतन करते हैं कि किस तरीके से हम एक नई चीज़ का इजाद कर सकते हैं जो कि इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में जिसकी बहुत डिमांड है। हमने पिछले 15 दिन में काफ़ी सारी टेक्नोलॉजीज़ का ज्ञान दिया है, जो अगर आप चाहें तो हम आपको लिंक शेयर कर सकते हैं। आप अपना ईमेल आईडी हमारे इसमें छोड़ दीजिए, क्योंकि मुझे ध्यान नहीं कि आप रजिस्टर्ड थे या नहीं। अगर आप रजिस्टर्ड हो तो आपका ईमेल आईडी हमारे पास होगा, नहीं तो हम सारे लिंक्स जितने भी बूट कैंप के हैं, ये रिकॉर्डिंग्स को प्रोसेस करना पड़ता है। प्रोसेस करने के बाद हम सारे आज शाम तक या कल तक हम सारे आपको अवेलेबल करा सकते हैं, और कुछ रिकॉर्डिंग्स हमारी गैलरी सेक्शन में ऑलरेडी लोडेड हैं, जिसमें किस तरीके से आप जैसे शॉल बनाते हैं तो शॉल में किस तरीके से हीटर मतलब हीटिंग करने के लिए एक टेक्नोलॉजी लगा सकते हैं, ताकि आप शॉल वैसे ही गर्म उसके लिए चाहिए, लेकिन जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा ठंड पड़ती है वहाँ पे आप उस गारमेंट के अंदर, उस शॉल के अंदर आप टेक्नोलॉजी से हीटिंग का प्रोविज़न कर सकते हैं, जिससे वो ज़्यादा गर्मी दे सके जो पहनने वाला है उसको। जो आपके ब्लैंकेट्स में यूज़ होती है जो टेक्नोलॉजी, अगर श्रीनगर में मैं कुछ साल पहले गई थी तो वहाँ पे ब्लैंकेट्स का बहुत चलन है, जहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रिक ब्लैंकेट्स होते हैं जिसमें आप लगा के छोड़ दीजिए बेड के ऊपर, तो वो काफ़ी गर्म रखते हैं आपको, रात को काफ़ी सहायता मिलती है। इस तरीके की टेक्नोलॉजी बहुत आसान टेक्नोलॉजी है, कोई बहुत लंबा चौड़ा काम नहीं है। लेकिन एक ब्लैंकेट अगर 400 रुपये का बिकता है तो इलेक्ट्रिक ब्लैंकेट 1000 रुपये का बिकता है, तो वो काफ़ी आपको वैल्यू एडिशन मिल जाता है। तो इस तरीके की टेक्नोलॉजीज़ का बहुत ज़्यादा उपयोग या बहुत ज़्यादा डिमांड है इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में। अगर हम थोड़ा सा अपने प्रोडक्ट्स को इनोवेट करके उसमें टेक्नोलॉजी का इंडक्शन करते हैं तो काफ़ी ज़्यादा सहूलियत मिल सकती है। तो हम चाहेंगे कि आप हैकेथॉन में के लिए भी रजिस्टर करें, और आप किस तरीके का कुछ आइडिया हो आपको, ये सब देखने के बाद आप जो दूसरे पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं उनके साथ कोलैबोरेट करके और कुछ नया इनोवेट कर सकते हैं 2 दिन के मतलब ये 1 हफ्ते का प्रोग्राम होगा। 1 हफ्ते तक आप इंटरेक्ट कर सकते हैं, और सब कुछ ऑनलाइन है, आपको कहीं आने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, कहीं जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। बस थोड़ा सा एंगेज करने के लिए आपको यू विल हैव टू रियली शेयर, आपको बताना पड़ेगा कि आप क्या चाहते हैं और किस तरीके के लोगों के साथ जुड़ना चाहते हैं। वो फिर पेयरिंग हो सकती है उनके साथ। थोड़ा सा मुश्किल। ठीक, थैंक यू। आप अपना ईमेल आईडी और इसमें अगर आप चैट विंडो में डाल देते हैं तो मैं चेक कर लूँगी कि अगर मेरे पास आपके डिटेल्स हैं तो विल बी शेयरिंग ऑल द डिटेल्स विद यू।
थैंक यू मैम। वैसे मेरा इसमें रजिस्ट्रेशन हुआ है मैम, अभी जो हमारा जो आई एम खादी जो स्टार्टिंग हुआ है ना।
हाँ जी, ठीक है,
उसमें मेरा डिटेल सारा है मैम।
ठीक है, थैंक यू। फैशन समिट में आपने रजिस्टर किया था, आपने हैकेथॉन के लिए भी किया था?
नहीं नहीं मैम, उसमें नहीं किया था।
अच्छा ठीक है, मैं आपको हैकेथॉन में भी, हैकेथॉन का भी लिंक भेज देती हूँ, वही लिंक पे आ जाएगा हैकेथॉन का भी आज शाम से। आप एक बार ही जाके उस पर भी रजिस्टर कर दीजिए, मैं आपको रजिस्टर करवा दूंगी।
थैंक यू वेरी मच मैम, थैंक यू वेरी मच। ओके, थैंक यू मैम।
थैंक यू। आप अपने आप को अनम्यूट कर लें प्लीज।
जी 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 जी।
Anybody else? Anybody would like to work on his use case? Is a artisan from Jammu and Kashmir, I think. Hansika, you have any questions? Would you like to participate in the hackathon? If you can introduce yourself. Hansika is one of the volunteers in the program, and also she is a technology student. So anybody who is having any particular problems in reaching out to others, you can contact Hansika. Sakshi, would you like to go on this thing to introduce yourself? So in fact, since some of the people want to really know a little more about the hackathon, I will take a few more minutes. And if there are no questions, or if people are not ready to kind of come on screen, if you have a problem, I will stop the YouTube recording for the question, and you can be comfortable in terms of we did that in the session 3 where we did not have recording for the session, so that it is not going online if people have a problem with that. So I'm just sharing something more on the technology front. So while we are at it, um, Nazir has shared his email ID and his details. I am, as well as Nikki has shared her details. Please feel free to interact with them on one-on-one basis. Nikki, you have not shared your email ID. So if you could share your email ID also, this will help others to connect with you, especially the student. There are a couple of students who are there from the technology domain. So you can just, thank you. Uh, So since it looks like that there are uh, some of you are not having enough ideas to really work on, I can actually help you to really come up with some ideas. So one of the most promising area in the fashion industry is the e-retail. Now, because of Corona times, people are not able to really go down to the malls, and they have a serious problem on trying to actually showcase their products that they have to sell. So virtual exhibitions are way to do that. But in the virtual exhibitions, you can't touch and feel the product, or you can't get a complete 3D view of the product. Especially in the apparel segment, you normally do a trial wear of the product and then only buy the product. So there are new areas in which fashion garments are being sold through what is called the e-retail, where you actually have a facility for not only providing the facilitation for viewing the product in a 3D manner, but also getting more this thing. So because of COVID-19 and the rise in the millennial and the high-speed internet and mobile penetration and use of technology, there is a lot of disruption having in this area. As we've been discussing since morning, that sustainable fabrics and wearables, 3D printed shoes, these are three typical products which are being sold through e-retail. Moving from a normal retail through a shop to a e-retail, which is online. And also there's a huge amount of opportunity to embed these garments with wearables, and also have accessories like 3D printed shoes, and having embedded maybe LED or color changing fabrics and so on and so forth. So sky is the limit in terms of this thing. We've been discussing this. Sustainable fabrics is something that is the need of the hour if we want to support the weavers and the artisans, like we've just heard one of them. Also, there is a rising need of having so fashion shows were the way that fashion was being actually sold to the end consumers. But now you have online shows, online this thing. So every day could be a fashion show if you really work it that way. And this is only possible through technologies which are ever pervasive and could be used both for online and offline. Also, in terms of the fashion industry, there you have to really understand that what is the kind of products that people are buying. So in a physical store, in an online store, where are they buying from? They're buying from Amazon, eBay, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, others. So these are the kind of things that millennials are using very frequently. And most of the purchasing is happening through the online and social media channels. Who would have imagined that on Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook you would be selling products? But the fact is that 47% of the people are buying from Instagram, 48% people are buying from Snapchat, and eBay and Amazon are at 32% or 30%. Physical stores, online stores are at 30%. So obviously, the buyers are on the social media platforms, and so you have to, if you want to sell your products, you also have to be there. And how do you reach out to them is through a combination of social media presence and some technology adoption. So what are the technologies? The technologies have to make not only a social media presence, but shoppable ads. That means you give one particular product and create an ad around that on social media, which actually leads to a very high conversion rate. Now, ethical brands like if you know, TechFab is one ethical brand. Sustainable Fashion, Shamshake is supporting sustainability in the production process and sustainability in the fabric choice, etc. So there are a lot of ethical brands that are coming up, and these brands are basically endorsing that they're moving towards the sustainable fashion in the, not only in the production but also in the way they sell their products. Also manufacture their product once they receive the order. Voice search is something which is a new area to hack, where you could actually have a voice-based searching for a product and get results from the Google or from Facebook or whichever target audience. So there could be search mechanism that you could develop and actually search through the voice-based search. Now, this is a very interesting use case which could be taken care as a part of your hackathon. AR shopping, augmented reality, and I will showcase a case on AR shopping. Mobile is the new desktop. So no longer are people going to the desktop version of applications. Everybody is looking at mobile based apps or mobile integrated into their shopping experience. So and one of the other trends which is there in the e-fashion, e-retail fashion is that video always gives a very good look and feel of what the product is and how you could really experience it through virtualization of by having it 3D modeled around a model, or the sky is the limit in terms of what innovation you really bring in into the marketing. So if you really look at the segments, women wear, men's wear, and children wear is the highest consumer expenditure in terms of retail. We also have a very great retail this thing in terms of the men's shoes. Even women's shoes are there, but men's shoes are a very big category on its own. So there are three major things that we need to really look at in terms of the fashion e-commerce. Is that what is the average order value, the retention rates, and the reviews, the customer reviews. So whenever you are developing any solution around your fashion product, or if you are participating in a hackathon, you need to really keep these three things in mind, that what is the average order value, what is the kind of retention rate that you can how you can improve the retention rate, and how frequently the customers you can engage with the customers to post review on your product and their experience. So in terms of the e-retail, seen that the average order value for this thing, you increase your business, but the orders are smaller. So $97 is the average order value in e-retail, as opposed to much higher order value in the normal retail segment. So what are the technologies? There are three major technologies which come into fore. Augmented reality applications, which basically allow you to really you have a particular product in the showroom. You can just click on that and you get the entire details of the product, and then show that in a few minutes. The other application area is the e-commerce try-on. And Samiksha had given a very good view on this particular session that she had given in how they are solving the problem by both the e-commerce try-on and a 3D design and development of the product. So these are this eight or nine major technology in terms of the e-commerce play. AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms in the fashion area is one of the most important technology that is being used by big brands. They might or might not be applicable for smaller brands, but for bigger brands, especially where they have huge amount of supply chain related inefficiencies, or predicting the fashion, trying to really develop new products based on customers' affinity. You can create different models using artificial intelligence and machine learning. Virtual reality and 3D modeling are two areas in the e-commerce segment that are gaining a lot of popularity. Of course, barcodes and QR codes are integral to any of the e-retail that happens, or any kind of e-commerce that happens in the fashion segment. Now, not only tags and labels, the traditional tags and labels are being replaced by what is called the electronic tags, which will not only have the information about the product, but also how many products has been sold, what is the origin of that product, where was it manufactured, which country manufactured it, where was the cotton sourced from, with which that product has been built, or any details that the manufacturer wants to really give in that particular case. Now, this is a great application for people to hack on, and the wearables we've discussed today. The wearables use the IoT technologies, and anybody who has interest in wearables can develop anything on the wearables segment. Blockchain improves the supply chain integration, and of course, we will discuss more on digital payments in the next session. The tags and labels, just to give a quick intro of what tags and labels are. We have these tags and labels which can retrieve the information about the product by just launching the application on phone and bringing it near to the price tag, and then it will give you all the information on your mobile phone. So this is a simple technology. You have these labels which are integrated on the shelf of the this thing, and or on the tag of which is with the garments. You have the tags which are there. So AI and ML allow very accurate personalization of products and services, and they've changed both offline and online retailers to really interact and approach the customers. So you can also use this for artificial intelligence could be used to predict the product shelf life. How long will the product remain on the shelf, and when it has to be replenished. Uh, it has been seen that 20% of the sales growth in the Indian fashion retailing has come by AI and ML in terms of recommendations, and trying to really have influencers to help in terms of predicting the kind of clothes that should be recommended to the people. So I'm not going into details about the technology, but I like to showcase you some of these things. So virtual reality, one of the application is stand in front of this virtual mirror and choose a dress that you are wanting to buy, and see in the screen as to how it would look on you. So this gives you an indication as to whether this dress is something that will suit you or not without actually being there. So this is something which is a very good example. And we had in our second session, or in our third session, we had Fashion Mirror, one of the products by a Mumbai-based company, showcase their product during the bootcamp. So this is a more advanced detail, as I said, AR-based dress details. Here, I just snap a picture and it basically pops up the entire details of the product. So what is the reference, what is the description, and this is personalized to your individual requirement. What is the in-stock, in-store stock, what is the online stock, what are the recommendations for this, and so on and so forth. So the idea is to be able to get most of the information without having a salesperson telling you. You will be getting all this information on your so when we are looking at application of sustainable fashion and e-retail, we actually need to have different stages of the progression, from a web presence to a information competence to a value integration and a creative market development and enhanced integration of skills, processes, and technologies, and then leverage to maximize the value of the sustainable sustainability for sustainable fashion. So there is, so I've mentioned this model. This is a five-stage evolutionary strategy on sustainable fashion e-retail, and you can Google this. This paper is available online, and how you could really use this for certain product or brands that you want to really hack for. So I'm not going into details of this, but I will really so this actually gives you an overview of the entire e-retail segment, which is a part of e-commerce, which is the highest growing market right now. Almost $100 billion in fashion products are sold through e-retail today. And this market is a ever growing market, and even after corona we anticipate that a lot of people will be buying online rather than offline, because of the added advantage of getting a personalized product, and also not only getting a personalized product but also getting a very uh, personalized experience of not only trying the product but also getting to know more about the product without asking anybody anything. And these are the application areas that one should look at hacking during the hackathon. So while we are still waiting for our guest next speaker, if somebody has a question, why don't you really ask the question? And if somebody wants to interact uh, amongst each other, please feel free to do so. You can just raise your hand and ask the question to me or address to any of the other participants, either on the chat window or on the So while we are waiting for Saurabh to join in, I will like to invite Yasharya to unmute himself and just talk a little bit about I am Khadi and the projects that we are doing.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you so much for inviting me. So, ma'am, do I need to tell them about the initiatives we are
You can
running?
just talk about I am Khadi, what you're doing in I am Khadi. That will give them
So,
the reference point of the.
so I am Khadi is a non-for-profit organization, and we are presently working towards the livelihood and sustainability of the weavers, artisans across India. And how do we do it? Is that we intend to give the website to all these micro and small businesses, and we integrate the payment gateways and the logistic service providers. And once we do it, we publish their website in a real time for the buyers, and we further help them to connect with the buyers by platforms like we have the one which is ongoing, in which we have digitized these small business users, cooperatives, and the NGOs, in which we have given them a website which is enabled with the payment gateway, and further we have digitized them by helping them to get their YouTube link. We have made their brochures, we have built their website, and we have brought them to a platform. And now we are at one side, we have made them digitized, and the other side we are engaging with the buyers not only from India but also globally. And we are trying to now arrange B2B, the B2B meetings for them. And the 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 kind of arrangements what we have with these weavers is that they will be able to book the appointments with the buyers. They will be able to book reservations with the visitors, and there will be an online real-time invoice settlement during B2B meetings with the buyers. And these uh, exhibitors will be able to share their contact details, web links. They will be able to do the chats with the visitors and with the buyers. And so we completely enable them. And because what we have seen in the real time scenario is that these people, they are either the kind of people with whom we are dealing with are the ones which are they live in the aspirational districts of India. They do not have the internet connectivity. They are not well versed with our surrounding environment, and there are lots of challenges while we communicate with them. We have a communication problem. They do not even know how to access websites via app or mobiles. So what we have done for them is that we have asked the images to be shared with us via WhatsApp, and we have made brochures for them using those images. We have asked them to record a small video of their products or their manufacturing units, and then we have uploaded those videos on our link, and we have provided them with a YouTube link. So dealing and working with these people who come from communities like tribals, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, who are in the tier 3 and 4 cities, it becomes very important for, in fact, in today's world, for them to connect with the digital digitally, in order not only to reach out to the buyers but also to have their online presence. So and then the initiative which has been recently launched by Dolly ma'am is something which may not be of that much impact. useful for them because they are not that tech savvy. They do not understand technology much. But I think the companies like IBM, JD, and PayTM, since they are into the payment, the digital payment enablement, it will going to help them to generate business, and they will be able to do that transactions online. Because what we see today is that customers are everywhere, and brands need to engage them whenever they are in a real time. So what I have personally realized is that the conventional methods are expensive and they are very time consuming. And if I talk about the Indian scenario, the total Indian MSMEs, they are close to 63 million in totality, and out of which 99.4% of them, they are micro enterprise, and out of which 51% of them, they are in the rural India. And if I talk about the buyer scenario, there are, so we have close to 1,500 million digital buyers worldwide. So we are trying to connect these digital buyers with the people who we have already digitized, and we have brought them to an online platform. So we call them digital the merchants or sellers. So and and we have recently also introduced and launched our digital MSME these training programs, in which we are doing the capacity building programs, capabilities building programs, export readiness these webinars with them. We are also working towards in formulation of some these interactive seminars on intellectual property rights for them, so that जो उनके designs है, they should not get copied. And we are also working on a digital literacy and also marketing for them. And the service providers to whom we are dealing with, they are NGOs, and they are cooperatives, they are self-help groups, they are associations, federations, and also they are micro and entrepreneurs, which are being funded by either NABARD, SIDBI, or various other organizations. And what we personally feel is that once we are able to give them able to empower them or enable them with the digital services like web store designing, like e-commerce enablement, payment gateway integration, so they will be able to transact, they will be able to communicate with the end buyer, and and they will be able to sustain their livelihood. So so these are the small few things which we are doing. And recently we have thought of launching another initiative, which is digital freelancer. So it is towards creating a real-time job creation through a buyer-seller engagement via freelancing assignments. Like if a buyer is he's based out of say US, UK, or some foreign country, or a buyer maybe from Delhi, or you may be a buyer. So, and if you want to visit a factory, or you want to do some quality checks, or you want to keep a vigilance on your delivery schedules, or you have to do some liaison work, and you're not able to travel because of this COVID. So you will be so what we're trying to do now is to engage you with the real-time freelancers who has the right skill set, to whom you can designate your work. You can, and these all freelancers would be verified representatives, and so we will give you the access to the large pool of top quality skilled profiles, and you can choose the level of services you need from them. And these so they will be the professionals like you who are experienced, or who are graduates, or who are recently passed out from your college, and they are looking for some digital assignments, and they can be hired on certain commission basis by these buyers, or the buying agents, or buying communities, to engage with the merchants for production. Because what we personally believe is that it's a value for money, and it's a and they can also work at the affordable price. uh, and uh, and yes, we just would like to also inform you all that we have an handloom and a khadi cluster in which close to 50 women weavers and 10 spinners they are working, and we have our cluster in Bijnor district in Uttar Pradesh, in which we are producing a face mask which is being branded by a startup Hutke, and it's been made out of the purest form of plant-based fabrics. So we make fabric from bananas, from bamboos, from sugarcane, from corn, soya, from aloe vera, and these are 100% organic fabrics, and they are also they have we have these lab reports, test reports for them that they are human friendly, and they can be used during these COVID times, and that's it. So if anybody has any question, please feel free to ask us.
So, thank you, Yash. We now have Saurabh Jain from PayTM, who's here with
Hello,
us.
Saurabh ji, welcome.
Hi.
Saurabh, I'd like to introduce Saurabh briefly, and I'd request Saurabh to share his views, especially on the payments and the e-commerce transaction and the partnership with us for this particular program. We're very thankful to him to really spare time for this session. This session is being yeah, telecast on the YouTube channel. So there are a lot of people who are watching it from various countries. We have participation from a lot of fashion accelerators as well as experts from various countries, and the export organization and import buying organizations, so who are also participating in this program. Apart from the students that are there in this session, these are who are interested in knowing more about the technology and how they could use it for participating in the hackathon. So Saurabh Jain, welcome. We're looking forward to your session. Just for a brief introduction, Saurabh Jain is Vice President of PayTM, and he is in charge of PayTM. It's a very ambitious project, and helping startups to build new products which are from India, for India, and also for the world. So over to you, Saurabh. Please briefly introduce yourself, and then you can begin our session. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Saurabh Jain. I'm Vice President at PayTM. I also manage an initiative called PayTM Build for India, which is one of the partners of this hackathon. So coming to today's topic, so if you have to focus on digital payments and the related fields, so what I would say is that if you study the so I read a book on how payments came into being, how coins came, and all those things. So over last few 1,000 years, we have we started with barter, then we went to coins, then we went to notes, and then to other instruments of the monetary policy. Then the central bank came into being, and today we have grown towards a new thing called digital payments. So initially, I remember, I will just give you an example of how much we have changed in last just 8 years. So in 2012, I was sitting with Mr. Vijay Shekhar Sharma. I knew him, and I was in my own startup. I was building a mobile game for PayTM. So he just shared me. He said that, do you build mobile games for operators also? I said, yes, we used to build mobile games for mobile operators. And mobile. So he asked me, how much did mobile operators charge? So I told that I was supplying to Tata Teleservices. They used to charge 70%. Reliance used to charge 90% revenue share. So he said, why do you give so much revenue share to these people, or why were you giving? So I told him that games were being sold for 20 rupees, 30 rupees or 10 rupees, and it was very difficult to collect 10 rupees, 20 or 30 from people at scale physically. So he, at that time, for the first time in my life, he introduced to me PayTM. He said, I am switching a little bit to Hindi to exactly share what he said. So he said, मैंने ये सर्विस शुरू करी है PayTM, and PayTM is basically a service which will be uh, allowing you to collect these 10 rupees from the retail customer. And so I asked him, what is the charge? He said, I will be charging just the payment gateway commission, which is around 2%. So I was I was startled. I thought, like, how can this happen? I said, 70% says if 2%, like, that is very big change. So he said, yes, this is what I have in mind. So digital, and this was in 2012. This was not in, like, I'm not talking about 2000 or 2005. So just in 8 years, just think, I was into mobile apps. Still, I was not able to think like people would be transacting mobile payments like cash. So now, obviously, in last 8 years, things have changed a lot. For example, I can personally vouch. Most of my purchases in last 7-8 months have been through PayTM itself. Our salaries come in PayTM, and most of the payments I am doing to Kirana, to pharmacy, etc. Everything is through PayTM right now. And what has changed in last 8 years? The difference is that in India there are 2-3 things which have happened. So one thing obviously was that I think the biggest change was that there was an organization which was a think tank, and which told government that there should be more proactiveness on digital payments. And then these things like UPI, Aadhaar based payments, all these things started, uh, and government started doing regulations, etc. So RBI had wallet regulations many years ago, and so that gave an enabling environment to Indian fintech startups. The other thing was that Indian fintech startups were at par with, I would say, US startups and European startups. So we were having a lot of things. And the other thing is that Indian fintech startups have scaled a little better than, I would say, even European and American startups. Last year I was in USA, and I remember in my hotel there was a vending machine of Coca-Cola, and I thought I should have Coca-Cola. And then I realized, because as an Indian, when you take dollars to America, you take $100 notes or $20 notes. And what I realized was that this machine required coins. And there I realized how much India has leapfrogged ahead of America. So just to give you two specific examples where I had a problem in America. So first was this vending machine. What I realized was that in our office also we have a vending machine where you can pay using PayTM. So what I realized was that I was missing PayTM in America because I didn't have those $1 or $2 coins, and so because I didn't have coins, I could not buy Coca-Cola. So I had to go to the reception, take convert currency into coins, and then use it, which obviously is very manual process. And obviously the other issue was that I ordered pizza, and the Papa John's person said, I don't have change. So I had to give him $12, even though the charge was just $11.50. And then I also again realized if PayTM was there, it would have been very easy. The other problem was that by mistake, I lost my foreign currency card. And then also I realized that had PayTM been there, so problem would not have been there, because uh, because at the end of the day, when you do digital payments, especially using mobile phones, so see, the probability of losing a mobile phone is less than probability of losing a card, because card is relatively small. Sometimes you forget taking from the restaurant back, which I felt happened in my case. But generally, as a because phone is more expensive, you are more careful, as well as even if the phone is lost, the digital payment uh, app has a password or something. So obviously there is a security. So what I realized was that like America went from cash to a credit card, and practically it is there only as of now for most practical purposes. But India leapfrogged to digital payments using mobile phones. And actually, I realized that time of digital payments has come only, like, I don't remember exactly, but I think it was in 2015 or 16. So my carpenter said, "Bhaiya, mujhe paise bhejne hain." He said, "Please send it to my village." He had to send 5,000 rupees. He said, "Please PayTM it." So I was very surprised. I said, "PayTM is a service by my friend Vijay. And how are you using PayTM?" So he said, "I have to send to village even if I take cash from you. At the end of the day, I would have to send it through some bank, or maybe through some physical person." So, and if you remember, most Indians would remember that most of the domestic helps, etc., what they were doing till 2000, I would say 2012, 13. Like, so for example, say if somebody is from Bihar, if say a peon is from Bihar, so this peon would give 20,000 rupees to his friend who would be going to village, and this person would physically hand over that 20,000 to the parents of his friend. So at the end of the day, sometimes what also happened was that this person did not deliver 20,000, they delivered only 19,000, and they would have said that 1,000, like I lost 1,000, or maybe I had some issue. So those kind of issues were there, and suddenly this payment infrastructure came, where fintechs provided, like for example, PayTM provided this service, and also we started with UPI. So UPI came, and obviously payments became very universal. Now you have multiple apps from which you can pay. Even the banks have improved. Earlier in 2000 till now also, I would say on record, as a customer, I use some private sector banks besides PayTM also, but their mobile banking experience or their net banking experience is not up to the mark. For example, today only I received a phone from relationship manager 1 hour ago. So this relationship manager from HDFC Bank called me. I have a account of my old startup in HDFC Bank. And I said, the problem which I am facing is that in my old startup, I had some FDs and I am not able to break them. So he said, yes, sir, हमारे यहाँ क्या होता है कि in commercial bank, commercial banking, where you have a company account, you can make FDs using net banking, but if you have to break FDs, you have to go to the branch. So I told this person, I said, I want to break FD, but the problem is that in the current COVID environment, I don't want to go to your Connaught Place branch and break the FD. So he said, sir, but that's the rule. So I said, in the current environment, this rule, in a normal environment, this was not a major rule. But in the current environment, just going to your main branch. So this Connaught Place branch is one of the biggest branches in Delhi, which is having, say, more than 50 people in the branch. And I said, if I go to that branch, obviously that's very unsafe right now, according to me. So you should have some way of breaking the FDs online. So, but he said that, sir, that is the rule, and as of now, we cannot do anything. So what I am saying is that many of the traditional banks have been a little slower. Why have they been slower? I think because it's a hackathon, most people are developers. So now coming to the second thing, why PayTM was successful and why the existing banks. For example, I usually want to take names because at the end of the day, you can do one-to-one comparisons. If you don't take names, then obviously the listener sometimes misunderstands also the and interprets the names according to their own wishes. So what, say for example, if we take difference between PayTM and HDFC Bank. So HDFC Bank, we have, like we all know, it's a very esteemed bank, and obviously it is one of the best banks. The thing is that why the net banking difference is there. The thing is that, and this I observed very closely. I don't know about the HDFC Bank and their internal processes, but what I observed in PayTM was very clear. So when we create a feature in PayTM, how it is created. So generally, I can give you one or two examples of the stories. So once Vijay, our founder, he went to a dhaba in Jaipur. Vijay is very fond of street food, so he must have gone to a dhaba. So he went to this dhaba and he asked the dhaba wala, Bhaiya, do you use PayTM? And the dhaba wala said, sir nahi main Paytm use nahi karta. So Vijay asked, why don't you use Paytm? So Dhabawala told 4 issues with Paytm, and obviously as a service you have to iterate a lot. So there is a book called Lean Startup which says that when developing digital products you have to iterate a lot. So Vijay came back. He told his team, these are the 4 inputs, and because Vijay took those inputs very seriously, obviously the team, which is composed of people from IITs, IIMs, etc., they took those inputs and they solved those problems, and obviously those features were added based on the inputs of Dhabawala. So the difference between why Paytm's like Paytm is relatively easy to use, what I've seen. Obviously other mobile apps are also easy to use. The thing is that mobile app companies generally have a DNA where they want to focus on the end customer. So at the end of the day, we are relatively mobile apps would be developer friendly. But when you go to private sector banks or public sector banks, the problem is that most of the management is not very consumer focused. Most of the management is composed of, and I am myself also a chartered accountant, so I would say most of the senior people in banking are from economics background or from chartered accountancy background. And generally what happens is that they are not taught user interface, they are not taught user experience, they are not taught product management, which mobile company, like senior people in mobile companies are generally more product savvy. They are like, for example, even though I am a chartered accountant, I am knowing about user experience because I have been building mobile apps for last 20 years. And I obviously, as part of Paytm, you become more user experience, like you know more about user experience. So what happens is that when you create a mobile app, you have to create it in a way that it becomes as easy to use as cash, which I have seen that many of the mobile apps are not there. So as a senior person in the industry, I would say that all the people who are listening to me, so they should focus not just on technology, because many people ask, is Paytm using blockchain? Does Paytm plan to use blockchain? Or what is the future of blockchain in payments? So what I would say is that obviously blockchain would come one day, and there are issues currently with some of the existing solutions. Obviously they would be technically solved, and one day there are some benefits of blockchain. Obviously on a backend side it will be used one day. But the thing is that as a app developer who is creating a fintech app or a digital payments app, or maybe something else, like fintech is not just digital payments, it includes a lot of other things, because finance technology means that it includes a lot of things related to, say, creation of accounts. So if you see any of the like famous things, for example, if you see Tally, or if you see other older apps which are being used, they are not very user friendly for the new person. So a lot of new innovation is happening, with a lot of startups have come which are helping the kirana store to get more digitized. So a lot of such innovations are happening. And I personally feel that the first point should be, you should try to focus on a problem. What problem in fintech I am trying to solve? And then you should try to focus on how I will solve this problem. And when using that, you have to focus on 3 things. So first thing is, it has to be desirable. Your solution has to be desirable. The second thing is, your solution has to be viable. And the third thing is, it has to be feasible. So feasibility is basically engineering. When we talk about whether this technology is useful or not, how will we use that technology, all that comes under feasibility. But first thing you have to focus, and this is the difference between apps which are built in Silicon Valley and apps which are built in India. If you see any government app or all the older companies, even if when they digitize, their apps are not generally very user friendly. So the reason is that their apps are not very desirable. They don't focus on design that much, and design is not just visual design. Design is functional design. So for example, when Steve Jobs used to say that when you open the Apple iPhone box and you press the button, iPhone instantly comes alive. So before iPhone, most of the phones, the battery used to be empty, and you had to first charge that battery for 1 hour and then use the phone. So what Steve Jobs realized was that because when you buy an expensive phone, you want to immediately use it. So he said that our battery will be charged when it comes. So that was a very small difference, but obviously it enhances user experience a lot. So when you see, I would say even government websites like GST, income tax, ecosystem. So I would say that a lot of improvements can be made. And when I say that a lot of improvements can be made, I'm saying this in a personal capacity, because at the end of the day, as a user, you are using a GST site, or you are using income tax site, or you are using net banking of various banks. So at the end of the day, as a user, what do you want? So, so as an app developer, you should have a very clear idea what your user wants. And if your user is relatively clear that, say for example, when I come to PayTM, I want to transact money, or I want to buy something, because PayTM, in PayTM, the pattern is very simple. You are paying, person A is paying to person B, and person B is giving some service to person A, some service or some good to person A. So that is the broad framework within which PayTM app operates. So you have to create a broad framework for your own app. So what kind of app I am creating, who will be the user, what will be the problem, how will what kind of pattern I am creating? Is it a is it like khata book, which is basically helping you to create khatas, or is it a payments app, or is it a e-commerce app, or is it something else in fintech, maybe neobank is basically pure digital bank. So what is the core benefit which you want to provide? And then based on that, you have to create a desirable, well designed solution, which is obviously viable also and feasible also. Viability obviously is an issue with payment apps right now, because UPI is free. So if you are a UPI app, you cannot get anything from the customer. Obviously you have to have some other business model to earn, or maybe you are like Google, which can obviously subsidize it from the other revenues. So you have to be very clear. Don't try to copy some big multinational, because Google can obviously subsidize Google Pay for many years to come. Maybe PayTM can also subsidize many of these services, because as a company we are relatively well funded. But as a small entrepreneur, as a maybe somebody who is starting, you have to be very clear, like how will you sustain, what is the business model, because especially in finance, financial apps, digital payment apps, a large amount of money has to be paid. For example, when you pay to PayTM through PayTM payment gateway using a credit card, so a large amount of transaction fees has to be paid to the credit card company. So that is a cost to us. So when you come for payment gateway to PayTM, we offer you UPI for free. We offer you RuPay debit card for free. But for credit card, the standard rate is 1.99%. The reason is that credit card companies, especially the bigger credit card companies, or the bigger processors, they charge a lot from us. So when they are charging a high commission from us, how can we obviously for credit card we cannot provide for 1%, because we are paying more than 1% for the process, getting the credit card processed. So what I am saying is that you have to have a very clear idea of what would be your revenues, what would be your expenses. It's very easy to relatively start a UPI app, but at the end of the day, what is your business model? So you have to have a very clear idea when you are starting a fintech app. The other thing is, fintech is not just digital payments, and fintech is not just using blockchain for XYZ. So try to understand the consumer, what are the problems. For example, and India is a very large market. Maybe you can focus on having a credit app for farmers, or maybe you can have a e-commerce app for farmers only. So lot of such permutation combinations are possible. Lot of niches are there. So as a payment app, like for example, we started with mobile recharges, then we increased to other services like school fee payment, etc. Now we are integrating, we have insurance, lending, etc. also in the app. So start small. So I was talking to Mr. Deepak about, who is very senior person in the industry and was earlier head of product at PayTM. So once he was mentoring a startup under PayTM Build for India initiative, and he said there is a problem of cold start. So the problem of cold start means that it's like a engine is not working. So how will you get this like diesel engines earlier used to be in winters, they would not start. So how will you get it hot enough that it starts? So same problem happens with the startups. So you are not able to get customers because you don't have services. You don't have services because you don't have customers. So वो जिसको हम हिंदी में कहते हैं मुर्गी अंडे वाली situation हो जाती है. So what you as a fintech startup, you have to start very small, focus on a very focused niche. For example, PayTM started with just mobile payments recharges for the these basically when you had to recharge your mobile phone, the prepaid phones, SIM cards, you were using PayTM. Initially, that was the start of PayTM. Then PayTM integrated with Uber. We allowed Uber customers to pay using PayTM. And then we added more and more services. And today, you are able to use PayTM for more than 100 services. So what I'm saying is that as a fintech company, as a company which wants to go into digital payments or some other allied field, start with a very small niche, small customer segment, which is very loyal to you. And once you are able to win over that niche, even Peter Thiel, he says that start become a big fish in the small pond, then a small fish in the ocean. So start as a big fish in the pond, and then when the pond grows, then obviously you will grow. The other thing is that maybe once you become a big fish in a pond, you can try to increase the size of the pond by adding more services. So that is there. So with that, I would like to say that if there are any questions or do let you can ask me, Dolly ji, is there any way people can ask me questions, or like is it one way only?
There is a chat window, and I'm just asking people now to really put in their questions in the chat window in case they have a question. Otherwise, I'd like to really appraise you of the current participants. They are basically a part of the Fashion Summit, which is what we are doing alongside the Handloom Festival, which is a virtual exhibition of the weavers and the handloom related ecosystem, where they are displaying the handloom products from all over the country, from various states, as well as traditional arts and fashion designers who are
so I
so
think
this is
the audience is like more towards e-commerce. They can use
yes.
digital in terms of so
And
just to add
and
uh,
so the other thing, the other set of participants which are on the Zoom call are mostly the participants who are attending the boot camp and understanding what e-commerce stands for and what is the kind of integration that they can do with their businesses. Mostly students or freelancers, how they could use e-commerce. So we have actually partnered with so Yash, before you came in, Yash was sharing, we have an initiative called digital digital MSMEs, where we are helping these startups to really create a free website and help them to really create a video and showcase that onto this thing. So this is an attempt that we are making to help digitize the people who are not digitized at the moment, and then how they can use the e-commerce. So we have very specifically wanted this session so that you can share that how they could use Paytm for billing their customers, and how they could get started with just a simple Paytm business app area. So if you could just share that.
So just to start, I think if the audience is e-commerce people, so I would say that there are the best way for e-commerce people to understand is that digital medium provide is an opportunity also, and it is a threat also. So opportunity is that once you are online, you can sell across the world, especially across India. In physical, digital, in digital goods, you can practically sell across the world. In physical goods, generally you are selling across the country, because when you sell outside the country, there are some legal as well as logistical challenges. So the best way to digitize, I would say, is that first start with your own app or website. I think website is easier to build, and then there are some platforms like Shopify, Shopmatic, etc., which allow you to build your own app store, own web stores. And Paytm is a payment provider as a partner to all of them, so you can use Paytm as a payment provider. The other thing which I have seen a lot of boutiques, etc., doing is that you can use WhatsApp to get orders, and you can collect payments using Paytm. So we have a medium called Paytm payment links, where if you have a Paytm online merchant account, you can send payment links to people using WhatsApp or SMS, and that allows you. So that is a very practical medium, because you can send a photo of your, say for example, you are selling a bed sheet. You can just send a photo of the bed sheet, and if the person likes, they will reply that I like it, please send it. They will send their address, and you can send a payment link back, and they can just pay using Paytm for that. So one thing is that. The other thing is that once you have a little bit of traction and you feel that you can have a website, so you can have a dedicated website. You can have some web developer develop a website with a few pages, and you can list your products there. And there you can use a Paytm payment gateway for that. And Paytm payment gateway allows you to use Paytm wallet, credit card, debit card, RuPay debit card, UPI, net banking. So we allow all the payment instruments. That's why we say it's a all-in-one payment gateway. So so Hansika has raised hand. Hansika, can you put your message in the chat window? So that is there. Then if you build a mobile app, Paytm payment gateway integrates with the mobile app also. We have SDKs for mobile apps. You can use all the instruments on the mobile app also. And then we have now recently launched a thing called Paytm mini apps. So mini apps is a platform where if you have created a website, you can integrate your website directly in Paytm. So a person who is using Paytm would feel that you have written an app specially for Paytm, and when they will open it, they will be able to pay using Paytm. So it's a very good way, because when people are using Paytm, they have a propensity to pay. So you can have your online e-commerce store on your website, and also on Paytm mini app store. And we don't charge 30% like Apple or Google. We charge only 2% for credit cards. UPI is free. So obviously we are not charging any store charge. We are just charging a payment gateway charge. So broadly speaking, I feel Paytm provides a lot of opportunity for e-commerce vendors. So mini apps is obviously an extension once you have a website, and before the website, I think you can start with just sending photos on WhatsApp, which I will call a minimum viable product. In the lean startup movement, minimum viable product is sort of a jugaad product. कि आपने WhatsApp पे you send the photo and the payment link, and if the person wants, they just pay you. So that is possible. So Hansika, if you had the question, can you share that question, because you had raised the hands, or if somebody else has some question? So Hansika has this question. I am building a website where I want to target Instagram resellers and small ethnic brand. For that, see, Paytm is a payment company. So and the other solution which we have is having mini apps on the Paytm platform. So I will just share you the website for the mini app. You will understand when I share that. Just give me 1 minute. So Paytm, I will be just sharing the screen. See, this is the Paytm mini app store. So when you are saying that I'm building a website where I want to target Instagram resellers, see, Instagram resellers, I think you can target using any ad network. I'm not an expert in ad networks, but as far as I know, the ad networks allow you to target the audience, especially if you give ads using Facebook or Instagram. I think you would be able to target them. And if you are focusing on small ethnic brands, then obviously having your own website, I think, would be an important thing. And obviously SEO and social media marketing would be important. PayTM doesn't have any focus on those things, but what PayTM can help you is in mini apps, where you can have your own icon on the PayTM, and you can have 15 crore users or monthly active users use it. You can rub shoulders with so many brands, 1mg, Domino's, Ola, etc. The other thing we provide is we have an ad network also. So within PayTM, you can have ads also. So PayTM ads are there, which come under in PayTM app. So in PayTM app, the good thing would be if somebody clicks, they come to your mini app and they pay. Obviously, that would be a very integrated solution, and and because we are not charging more than 2%, obviously, it's a win-win for the vendor like you. You can register. There are two ways of registering. So one was that you can write to me. I think that can be done. The other thing is you can go to this website and you can register it. So I can share you my email address. So if you have anything, if you want to register, you can write to me. I can. I'm just sharing my email address to people in the chat, and you can write to me, and I can connect to the team for mini apps. But for mini apps, you need to have a website. So if you don't have a website, then do not write to me as of now till you have a website for mini apps.
So these are participants, the bootcamp participants, which are on the current Zoom call, are basically going to be on the hackathon. So they will be building their app for the hackathon. So we will be sharing the PayTM related things that you have shared with me, and we will be offering it to all the participants to use to create a website, and as well as add their PayTM link for that.
Okay, so it was nice talking to you. I think we have finished time, but it was nice talking to you, all you people, and thanks Dolly ji, आपने बुलाया, बड़ा अच्छा लगा.
Thank you. In fact, we are looking forward to really have much more engagement with PayTM, especially for this target group, because this target group is the most affected group in terms of the problems that they are facing in selling their products. And the only way that they can sell the product in the Corona time is through the digital modes. And they are not familiar with digital mode. That's the reason why I conceptualized this hackathon. And I did it along with the World Trade Expo, so that already 200 participants who are exhibiting their products, and a lot of them we have helped to digitize. So once they have digitized, now they have an access to the payments. They need to know how to really make the maximum use of it. And that is why we said, okay, let us do this hackathon. And the hackathon would really help some of these students to hack some solutions for the problems. Already some problems are coming up from the participants of the exhibition. So today we had one of the participants who's come from Jain. He has shown interest in terms of really sharing the information in what is his problem, and how we could help them. So that would be one team which will work on that and try to solve that particular problem. So this is how we are planning to really take it to the next level. So the hackathon will start from on 28th and 29th. 30th we'll have the final results, and some of the problem statements which we have shared are mostly in the fashion area. But fashion, the reason why we want to make it this thing is a sustainable fashion, because it's a handloom expo, and handloom is one of the most sustainable way of really being produced as well as delivered. And this is the biggest target area which has been affected due to the pandemic. So we'll like to see how we could help them to really overcome some of the existing challenges. And some of the participants who have come from as far as Jain, as far as this thing, they've come and shared their problem statements. And it's up to the students and the participants of the hackathon who will help to solve them one by one.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Saurabh. If anybody else has a question, please type it in the chat box or just raise your hand so that we can put it up. And if you'd like to engage more with Saurabh, Saurabh has always also shared his link, but
I am there on social media as especially Twitter on @skj Saurabh, at skj Saurabh.
So thank you, Saurabh. Thank you for being with us. So
Thank you so much, Saurabh. I'm Yash Arya from I'm Khadi.
Hi.
So Yash is the co-host of the program. He's basically the co-organizer of the World Trade Expo, which is the online exhibition for the handloom products, as I just mentioned. And he's doing a humongous amount of work to uplift the current problems that the handloom weavers are going through, and has adopted certain clusters. And we're looking forward to support from PayTM and you personally to really make sure that we are able to help through the hackathon and the other initiatives that we are doing to help uplift the current during the current pandemic, all these people who are deeply affected by the pandemic. So Yash, would you like to really say something before we close?
Yeah, I would like to say that the session which was took over by Saurabh was very informative. We all have learned, and we will also be now using. We have our website, but we'll be now using the Paytm app to build our app on their platform. And yes, as Dolly ma'am has rightly mentioned, that we are working with the people who belongs to tier 2, 3, and 4 cities, and more, and few of them are also from the aspirational districts. And yes, it's a huge task, I must say, to digitize them, because still they don't have an access to internet, and few of them, they don't have an access, and they don't even know how to have their website, how to have their digital presence, how to have how to promote products online, how to do these digital transactions. They are too new to all this, and it was a very good learning for us to also learn that it's a need of an hour, and people like you and a company like Paytm, we will partner with to reach out to all such people, and encourage them and enable them for the digital payments and also for digital transactions for their business to grow digitally.
Thank you, Yash, and thank you, Saurabh, for sparing your time. And we are looking forward to your support for the hackathon also, so that we can get more people to really use the digital payment opportunities that Paytm has to offer in their hackathon problem statements that they are working on. With that, I'd like to close. If there are any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, we'd like to close the session for the day. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Can we just have our webcams on so that we can have a photograph in the gallery view as customary that we have for all our sessions? Hansika, yeah. Anybody else would like to really start their webcam? Please do that. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Nikki, why don't you really share your webcam?
So just say cheese so that we can have a remembrance for today. Thank you. Thank you so much.